in the name of Jesus. Lord, I pray that whatsoever she's teaching, Lord, she will teach it, God Almighty, that no matter where we are asked, even in our sleep, we'll be able to recall it in the name of Jesus. In Jesus' name I prayed.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, thank you. So today we are going to be talking on the topic security education. And please, if you can, you need to make your notes fast. So today we are going to be looking briefly at emergency management. Our topic for today is emergency management. Though we have already discussed it, we have looked into the topic, but before school resumes, let's refresh our memory on what you have done so far. So we are going to be looking at the meaning of emergency. Emergency. Let's define emergency. Emergency is an unexpected dangerous situation that requires immediate action. Emergency is an unexpected dangerous situation that requires immediate action. That's what is emergency. It's something that you don't expect. Emergency is something that is unforeseen, something that you have not seen it coming. It just comes. That is what is called emergency. And once this thing happens, you need immediate action. There's need for you to act fast so that you can save people's life. That's what it means. So emergency here is very important. Whenever there's an emergency situation, it could be accident, it could be burn, it could be injury. There's need for an immediate action. If possible, first aid. Before taking the person to the hospital, make sure the person has been adequately taken care of. That is what is known as emergency. There are a lot of emergencies that come across that happens to us, happens to individuals. Most at times is accident. It could be home accident, it could be gas explosion, it could be accidents, car accidents. It could even be, maybe you're walking on the road, you can hit your foot or something, you can fall down. It's an emergency that you need after everything has happened. That is what is called an emergency. And after that emergency, you also have management. So now let's look at what is management. Management means process of controlling things or people to achieve a desired result. Management means process of controlling things or people to achieve a desired result. Once an emergency has happened, there's need for things to be controlled. There's need for people to be controlled in order to have a what? Desired result. That is what is known as management. Emergency cannot work without management. But once emergency has happened, there's need for those things to be managed. It could be in the hospital, it could be through first aid. There's need for management. Then we have emergency management. Let's look at emergency management. Emergency management is concerned with decreasing the impact of emergencies. Emergency management is concerned with decreasing the impact of emergencies or revenue. It means that whenever there is emergency, there's need for ways or measures to reduce those impacts. Whenever there's emergency, there's need for ways or measures to reduce those impacts. It's very important. That is what is known as emergency management. You cannot have emergency without a management. You cannot have emergency management there's need for a way those emergencies can be what? Used.
10, 12.
What's class? Okay. Then we have types of
Security
emergency.
education.
We have types of emergency. We have types of emergency. Then another one is emergency response. The fourth one is emergency response. Emergency response refers to the various measures taken by people. Emergency response refers to the various measures taken by people and government to reduce the effects of sudden dangerous occurrence. It means that whenever there is emergency, there should be a quick response. We have agencies that take care of those response. For example, we have the Federal Road Safety Corps, those that take care of emergency on the road. That's what they do. Whenever there are accidents on the road, you will see a Federal Road Safety Corps on their van. They take people to the hospital based on the gravity of that emergency. Most of the times, people will be left dead, and they will have no other way than to take them to the hospital. Most of the times, people can be injured, badly injured. That is called an emergency response, and is a proper measure of taking emergency response. So road safety is an example of emergency response we have. Then another emergency response, number 2, we have fire brigade. When it comes to fire, they go to houses and pour water on fire so that they can quench those fire. It's another way of emergency response. Emergency response is very important. These are the people that take care of fire outbreak. Very important. That is why it's known as a various measure taken by people. It is people that take out this measure so that they can reduce, and government are using them to reduce the effect of sudden dangerous occurrence. So number 1, we have road safety. Number 2, we have fire brigade. They take care of emergency response. Anything that comes that has to do with fire, that's what they do. Then let's go to classification of emergency. Classification of emergency. Number 1, we have man-made emergencies. Man-made emergencies. So let's look at what is man-made emergency. They are sudden occurrences that are caused by activities of human. Man-made emergencies are sudden occurrences that are caused by activities of humans, and it could be deliberate. E.g., we have the act of terrorism and rape. That is what is happening in our society today, act of terrorism and rape. We also have error or negligence. All these are examples of man-made emergencies. Most of the times, it could be as a result of mistake, or it could be as a result of your negligence and failure in the human-made system. Most of the times, let's take terrorism as an example. All these are man-made emergencies. When people have been terrorized in a particular environment, some of them will end up being left dead. Some of them will not have houses to live in. Some of them will not even have food to eat, because it depends on the gravity of that terrorism. They may end up burning their houses. They may end up killing them. They may also end up burning all their food they have stored so far. Most of the times it's farm. They may go to the farm and destroy their farm. And so terrorism can be in different form, and is a disturbance to human living in the society. All these are types of man-made emergencies, and people will be left to deal with their problems on their own. That is, if government did not intervene. There's need for government to intervene in man-made emergencies. Then we also have the issue of rape. If you notice in our society today, there's rape everywhere. There's issue of rape. All these are man-made emergencies, and they need a quick response. Whenever there's an issue of rape, those people should be judged adequately based on their crime. All these are forms of emergencies that need to be responded immediately. And these man-made emergencies can be caused deliberately. It could be deliberate. Like the issue of rape now. Most of the times you notice that babies are being affected. I mean, how can an adult see a little baby and decide to rape that baby? It's uncalled for. And so all these are kind of man-made emergencies that we will need to avoid. And there's need to be response. The government need to work on these emergencies. There's need for government to make quick response. There also need for the people that are in that place to also look for the people that are involved in that emergency. Is very important. Man-made emergencies, most at times is deliberate, most at times is error, but it's most at times deliberate. So that is why it's called man-made emergency, because we are the ones that will decide, that will always get involved in doing such things. And there's need for us to avoid it with the help of people, a quick response with people around us. Then we have another type of emergency. Number 2, we have the natural emergency. We have the natural emergency. Natural emergency. Natural emergency refers to unexpected happenings. It refers to unexpected happenings that result from natural processes of the earth. Natural emergencies refer to unexpected happenings. It's something that you don't know it's coming. It's something that you don't expect to happen.
Ma?
So it results from natural processes of the earth. For example, we have flood. Flood is a natural emergency that just comes and sweeps away people's dwellings, people's houses, where they stay. Flood is number 1. Then we have earthquake. We have volcanic eruption. We also have tsunamis. All these are natural emergencies. It emerged naturally. Nobody is the cause of it. And it results to damage of lives and property. It's something that affects human nature. And so it needs government quick response. There's need for government to respond adequately by finding places for people to live and relief items, that's food and clothes, to be donated to them, to such people. There's need for them, they need help, because at the end of the day, they may end up losing everything. If possible, some of them may end up losing their lives and also properties. So lives is involved in this case. There's need for help. We need government help. We need international bodies help. We need everybody, well-meaning people that are well-meaning in the country can also offer help when it comes to natural emergency. Also, both types of emergencies can result to damage of people's social life. Both types of emergencies can result to damage of people's social life. People will not be able to go out and have fun. They'll not be able to go out and socialize with other people, simply because they don't have what it takes to survive. They are not happy. They have lost virtually everything. So they cannot go out to socialize with other people because they are lacking in one area or the other. They need people to cover up those areas in their life. They need people to bring out clothes and give them. They need people to give them food to eat. They also need, most of the times, medical examination, good medical examination. So they need government intervention in this area. People will not be able to go out and be happy. Also, emergency can result to physical disaster. Some of us may either end up having one need or the other. Most of the times, we will not have things to use to enjoy our livelihood. It may lead to mental well-being, in the sense that it may affect how you think and how you do things. Because you are lacking something, it will begin to affect you mentally. It may result to huge loss of lives and property. You may end up losing, some of us may end up losing our lives and property due to emergency. And so there's need for what? Quick response is very important. Then we have example of emergency situations. We have an example of emergency situations. Number one is fire. Number one is fire. So let's look at what is fire. Fire is the burning which produces flame. Fire is the burning which produces flame that sends out heat and light. Fire is the burning which produces flame that sends out heat and light and may produce smoke. Fire may produce smoke if it is not being quenched out. It causes death and destroys properties. Fire causes death and may also destroy properties. Then let's go to effect of fire. Number one effect of fire is that it can what? Destroy properties. Fire can destroy properties if it is not being looked into immediately. You may even lose your life. That's another effect of fire. Then let's go to number two. Fire may lead to death. Fire may lead to death. Fire may even burn a person's skin. Fire may burn the person's skin. It also destroys.
I'm not seeing everything.
I'm not seeing everything.
Hold on, I'll adjust it.
My note is not really clear.
Can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am.
My note is cut out.
What's the problem?
My not seeing everything.
Can you see it now?
Yes,
Check
ma'am.
the screen. Can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma.
Who is
Yes,
this
ma'am.
saying no?
Now we
It's
can
there
see.
on the screen. How many of you can see it?
My Miriam.
All of us.
My phone have
It's there on the screen now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Prince, can you see it?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Please put on your video. Let me
Yes,
see.
ma'am.
Olatule and Samuel, please put on your video. All of you on your video, or I'll remove you. If I can't see you, I'll remove you now. On your video. Quickly. Kezia, Anne, Adaize, Victor, Christabel, on your video now. Adiza Liu, on your video. Quickly. God's will. On your video now. Olatunde, you want me to remove you immediately? And on your video. Usa. So let's proceed. If I notice that you are not on your video, I will remove you. Better on it now so that I can be seeing you. So like I said, number two example of fire is that it causes death.
Please go back.
It causes death. Number three, it can disfigure a person through burnt skin. It can disfigure a person through burnt skin. It can destroy farmland and vegetation. Fire can destroy farmland and vegetation. Most at times you will notice that when people want to clear their land, they may end up affecting another person's land. If the fire is not being taken care of, it may spread to another farmland and may end up destroying crops. So that is the effect of fire. It can disfigure a person. I believe you may have seen one or two persons that have been disfigured by fire. It could be a burnt skin. You notice that a part of someone's body has been burned. On several occasions, I've seen such persons. They've had burn skins as a result of fire. Maybe they are in the car, or it could be in the house, or it could be due to a home accident. All this can result to burn skin. And then let's look at how children can prevent fire outbreak. Let's look at how children can prevent fire outbreak. Number one example is that children should not play with fireworks. Children should not play with fireworks. Most of the times you may see your friends playing with fireworks. It can be very dangerous. Don't use your money to play with fireworks. You have to know how to use it effectively. You have to go where it may not burn when it drops. It's very important. Don't play with fireworks. Number two, they should avoid playing with matches, lighters, and lit candles. Don't use candle in your rooms. Make sure you have lamp or you have a phone that has a torchlight. It's very important. Don't use candle when you're about to sleep. It's very dangerous. I have seen a house that they use candle. Okay, when I was in school, it was my neighbor. All of a sudden we heard shouting and we were wondering where is this shouting coming from. Lo and behold, the old man on candle in his room and he left it on and the candle fell off. That is how it burned the whole room. Can you imagine? The man just came back from Mecca with all the goods he brought. I mean, the good things he brought from Mecca. That's how everything got burned. That's the effect of fire. You may on it. Oh, let me read or let me do one or few things before you know sleep will carry you. Avoid such things. Avoid it. Avoid it. Once you feel sleepy, make sure you off it immediately. Don't wait for anything. Off it. I mean, I have learned my lesson from that man's life. I mean, I felt for him because all the goodies he brought to give out to people, he could not give it out to them again because everything got burnt as a result of candle. So avoid owning candle before you go to sleep. Don't use lighters to play with it. Don't avoid using lighter. It's not meant for you. Don't play with matches. That's how you can prevent fire outbreak. There's one of my nephew. When I went to visit them, and he noticed that we enter the kitchen, we on the matches and put on gas. And one day the little boy just entered the kitchen and said, "I will burn this house one day." And what is the next response? We started avoiding him from coming close to the kitchen. Because he may just say with play and you notice that he go and carry the matches when nobody is close to him and you end up owning it. He was saying it unconsciously. He said, "I will burn this house one day." That's why they said children should not play with fire. So these are the preventive measures. These are the ways that you can use to prevent playing with fire. Children are not supposed to go close to the kitchen. Once your food has been served, you finish eating in the parlor or in the dining or in the room, take it back to the kitchen and leave the kitchen immediately. Me too, I'm a result of fire. It's just God that helped me. When I was small, I was following my elder sister to the kitchen, and that's how I was burnt with hot water. So it's not good to be allow children to be roaming about close to you. That is how I was poured egg all over my body. I was very small then, I don't know what it was. But I learned that they poured egg all over my body, and gradually I was healing. So I noticed that it's not good when you're in the kitchen, you are carrying things up and down. For a child to be following you is very wrong. Allow the child to stay in a safe place and do your work in the kitchen. If you notice your younger ones are coming close to the kitchen, please try and put them away because it's very dangerous. If I have not been a victim, I wouldn't have known. Because she immediately turned, I was behind her, she didn't know I was close to her. She mistakenly turned with water in her hand before you know it was on my body. So it's better you avoid it. You can prevent fire outbreak. You can help your parents, you can help yourself. Then point 3 is they should know that children should know that electric iron can still be hot after use. Electric iron can still be hot after use, even if unplugged. Once iron has been used, don't go close to it, because immediately you touch it, it will burn you. You can avoid using electric iron. You can end up burning your clothes even. That's if you are doing it and you are not concentrating. There's a day I burned my school uniform when I was in primary school. I don't know what happened. I just placed it on the uniform and I left it. And so there was a patch on the school uniform. So it's better you avoid all those things. You can avoid playing around the stove in the kitchen. The stove is not meant for play. Some of you want to look at the fire and put in something. It's not for playing. It's for cooking. And after the deed has been done, it will be off. So don't play with the stove. Allow the person that is using it to use it alone. Parents should lock gas cylinder in the house. That's another way of preventing a fire outbreak. Parents should lock gas cylinder in the house because a child may end up going to on matches on the plate. So parents can always prevent such things by offing their cylinder. There's need for that. Then we also have we are going to look at how to respond to fire emergency situations. The way to respond to fire emergency is that we need to look for fire brigades whenever there's fire. If you have sand or water close to you, always pour such sand and pour the sand or water. It depends on where the fire was caught. It could be in the filling station, it could be in your house, it could be somewhere else. Make sure you use the effective safety measures that is meant for that outbreak. It's very important. Then fire can also be caused through the use of our cars. Like yesterday when I was coming, I saw a car burning. When I was on the road, I saw a car burning and people were all around looking at the car. There's a way we can respond to it. We can move it away from the road so that it will not cause attention, so that it will not cause more accidents. If you can, move it away from the road. If you can, make a sign to people so that they will know something is wrong. It's either they divert or they move quickly. That's another way of response to fire. Then another kind of emergency response to emergency situations is when buildings are about to collapse. There's a way we can respond to it. We should avoid staying in a building that has stayed over a long period of time without renovation. Once we stayed in a building that has stayed long, that means it may collapse when we are in the building, and it's very dangerous because most of the times people don't come out alive, or they come out injured or badly defractured. So we can avoid whenever we are in those emergency cases. We should always make sure that our houses are being renovated from time to time so that it will not fall off on our heads or when our loved ones are inside. This is a way of quick emergency response. Then another quick emergency response we have is as a result of food poisoning. Well, most of the times we end up eating something that that have microorganisms in it, and it will end up affecting our system. It will affect our system, and we may need to go for an emergency. We may need to go to the hospital. We also may need to have a first aid for that emergency response. Is very important. There's example of emergency situations. All these are food poisoning. We also have fake drugs. Fake drugs is another emergency.
Please decide on emergency response.
Yes?
Please, I'm not seeing the slide on emergency response.
Mama, seeing how children can prevent fire.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm not seeing you.
Mama, seeing how children can
Slide they are
prevent fire.
talking on was still in how children can prevent fire outbreak.
Don't worry, let's continue. We'll get to that. I'm trying to explain something based on the fire outbreak. Are you with me?
Yes,
So we'll get to that. Don't worry. So like I said, another emergency response is food poisoning. Food poisoning. Sometimes we end up eating food that may affect our system. We eat food that affect our system, and there's need for us to go to the hospital immediately before it affects our system. All these are way of emergencies. Another one is fake drugs. It's another type of emergency. We may end up buying a fake drug that will affect our system. We may end up buying a fake drug, so there's need for us to go and take the proper drug. Very important. Before you buy drugs, make sure you check what is on it. Check the expiry date. Check where it is being produced. Make sure you go to a genuine place to buy it. Make sure it's prescribed from the hospital. Make sure you go to a good chemist to buy that drug. Don't buy it from the people that are selling on the roadside. Most of the time, their drugs are being affected by the sun. Most of the times, their drugs, they don't keep it in a good environment. Most of the times, also, their drugs may be expired. Could be expired. And most of the times, they don't go to a good place to buy such drugs. They don't go to a genuine place. So it's very important to go to a genuine place to buy your drug. It's very important. It's for your own health purpose. Then another emergency response situation is flood. Flood. And they all need quick response. Flood is another emergency that avoids our human livelihood. There's need for government to respond to this quickly. So these are the types of emergency situation we have. Like I said, number one, fire. Number two, accident. Number three, drowning. Drowning is another type of emergency response. Drowning is another type of emergency response. You may go to the river with your friends and you don't know how to swim. Don't even try to enter that river, because you want to prove to them that you know how to swim and you know how to do it, because you will end up getting drowned and they will go and leave you there. And your lifeless body may be found, or you may not even be found at all. So drowning is another type of emergency. Most of the times, we should not go to the place we know we cannot swim. Even when we go to the swimming pool, we should make sure we are with our lifeguard or we are with a life coach. Don't enter the swimming pool alone to avoid yourself get drowned. So all these are the types of emergency response we have: fire, drowning, collapsing of building, food poisoning, fake drugs, and flood. And all these things need quick response. So like now I'm going to be asking you questions based on what we have discussed so far. I'm going to be asking you questions based on what we have discussed so far. Mr. Smart, please come. Mr. Smart, let me see their faces. Prince. Their faces so that I will see them. Please, can you define emergency? Let me see them.
Emergency is a type of situation which occurs suddenly.
Which occurs, yes?
Suddenly without knowing and needs immediate response.
Yes, so emergency is a kind of situation which occurs suddenly without you knowing. That is what is known as emergency. Esther, can you define management? Define management. Management. What is management? Define management. Yes? Prince has defined emergency. So I want you to define management for me. Who wants to help her? Blessing, are you raising your hand? Blessing, yes?
Management is the process of
Management is
The process of controlling things.
Yes, management is the process of controlling things. And what again? You have tried. I love that. Yes, you have tried. Who can help her? Management, she said management is the process of controlling things. Christabel, yes?
Management is the process of controlling things to achieve a desired result.
To achieve a desired result. Blessing, can you hear her? Management is the process of controlling things to achieve a desired result. If I'm to mark you now, Blessing, I'll give you like 2 marks or 2.5. Christabel is not getting the whole mark, 5 marks. Management is a way of controlling things to get what? A desired result. Thank you, Blessing. Thank you, Christabel. Anne, can you define emergency management? Usa, define emergency management. Okay, Moses James. Yes, emergency management.
Yes, ma'am. My emergency management is concerned with reducing the impact of emergency or revenue.
It's a means of what?
Emergency management is concerned with decreasing the impact of emergency or revenue.
I can't hear you. Please come again. Please come again. Emergency management is what?
Is concerned
Yes.
with decreasing the impact of emergency or revenue.
Or increasing the impact of emergency. Who can help him again? Who can help him? Who can help him define emergency management? Frances. Frances. Can you hear me?
My note on the beginning of the class.
You said?
I didn't get the note.
You didn't get the note?
Yes, ma'am.
That means you came in late. Did you come in late?
Yes, ma'am.
They define emergency management.
I came in.
You came in late. Great man.
Yes, ma'am.
Great man. Great man, define emergency management for me. Yes, I'm waiting for you, great man. What is emergency management? Who can help him define emergency management?
Emergency management is the process of decreasing or reducing the impact of emergencies or revenue.
It's the process of what?
That's not what I see.
Controlling unexpected, dangerous situation. Emergency management is concerned with decreasing the impact of what? Emergency disasters, isn't it? That's what Prince had just said. Thank you. Emergency management is concerned with decreasing the impact of emergencies or disasters. And this can lead to failure of plans. All this can make one to avoid emergency. Then I said there are 2 types of emergency. Tanko, give me 2 types of emergency we have. We have 2 types of emergency, yes? Quickly.
Madam, note.
Please, on your videos, or I'll remove you. Those of you offing your video, I'll remove you. On it. On your videos now, I'll remove you. Yes, Tanko, I'm waiting for you.
Madam, note.
Yes?
No started. I didn't start early.
You came late?
Yes, ma'am.
Great man, can you give me 2 types of emergency? Who can help him? Give me 2 types of emergency.
Man-made emergency and natural emergency.
Oh, I don't want Prince again to answer now, though he came early. He's answering because he came early. I want someone else to talk. Pelumi, give me 2 types of emergency. Someone else to talk. Yes, Pelumi, give me 2 types of emergency. Pelumi, can you hear me? Who can give me 2 types of emergency?
Ma.
I don't want Prince to talk. Please don't talk. Oh. Yes, Jerry.
Man-made emergency and natural.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Man-made emergency and natural emergency. What does the natural emergency consist of? What makes up? Give me an example of natural emergency.
Ma.
Yes.
Applauding.
Yes.
Applauding. Money.
Mommy.
Keep
What?
quiet, please.
I can't
Please
hear
keep
you.
quiet.
Keep quiet.
Ma, flood.
Flood.
Money.
Yes, thank you. Flood. Any other one? Jerry. Yes.
My ex.
Earthquake. Thank you. Any other one? Volcano. All these are example of what? Natural emergencies. Give me an example of man-made emergencies. Pelumi, give me an example of man-made emergency.
Thank
Pelumi, give me an example
Yes,
of
ma.
man-made emergency.
Ma, bomb.
My example, Judah.
Yes.
Bomb blast or things like that, ma.
Bomb blast. Yes.
Bomb.
Or what?
Ma,
Pelumi, there
explosion
are much
of
now.
gas.
Fire.
Yes, ma. Explosion of gas.
Explosion of
A
gas.
gas explosion.
What?
Car accident.
Fire accident. Yes. Can you explain why it is called man-made emergency? Explain to me why it's known as man-made emergency.
Ma, it is
Because
called
they're caused
man-made.
by
Jerry, yes.
Can.
because these activities are caused.
Because it is what?
Because these activities they are caused by human
They are
beings.
caused by human beings, isn't it? Because it is caused by human beings. That's why it's known as man-made emergency. Like what Pelumi said, gas explosion. We don't need to use our phone close to gas. Whenever we are cooking in the kitchen, please don't use your phone to answer call. Move away from where the kitchen is, from where the gas is, where you are cooking, and answer your call. Most of the times when you want to on your generator, don't use your phone touchlight. It's very risky. Use ordinary touchlight. Make sure you use ordinary torchlight to on your generator. It's very important. Or make sure you are not very close to it. Please, for safety measures, it's very important. That is why it is known as man-made emergency, because we are the cause of it. And we can avoid it. It's very important. So in the next class, we are going to look at how to respond to what? Fire emergency. That's why I said, please should hold on, that we'll proceed from there. I wanted to stop here because we don't have much time. But in the next class, we'll continue from where we have stopped today. Is it okay? Is it
yes,
okay?
ma.
Yes. So now, Christabel, can you pray for us? Christabel, pray for us. Yes, amen. Amen.
Thank you. Because that everything I've learned today will commit to our memory in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, thank you for listening. We'll continue in the next class. Have a nice day.
Judah, go and bow.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Judah, go and bow.
Pin you, I say.
Yeah,
Pin you.
Brush.
Please go and brush.
Pin you, guy.
Bro.
Yeah,
Everybody,
they pay
Prince
you,
is
guys.
bleaching. Prince will not keep quiet, man.